Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhikam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambattvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramo Panishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Let us read from the verse 30. Does everybody has this handout? Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma cetasa nirashi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyantah muchyante tepi karmavihi ye tve tadabhyasuyantah nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudham stan viddhi nashtana cetasah. Ye me matamidam nityam. In the verse 31, Lord Krishna said, Anutishtanti manavaha. Manavaha, those people, nityam anutishtanti, follow all the time, not once in a while, follow all the time. Ye me idam matam, this teaching of mine. So those people who all the time or constantly follow this teaching of mine. Shraddhavantaha, who possess abundant shraddha or the trust in my words, anasuyantaha, those who are free from asuya, the tendency to find faults where there are virtues, this is the asuya. So those who don't have this asuya, muchyante tepi karmavihi, they becomes released from the bondage of karma. So this matam, what is matam? What is the teaching of Lord Krishna in this chapter? Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara. Tasmad, therefore, Arjuna, karyam karma samachara. May you very well perform your kartavya, your duty, what is to be done. Karyam karma, what is to be done in a given situation. May you do that. May you do what is right in a given situation. May you play your role correctly according to the script of dharma or the moral order. There is dharma or a moral order, and may that order always reflect in your life in whatever you do. Do what is right, even if it is not convenient. So, what is convenient is to avoid pain. That's the convenient thing. Avoid the pain in the present, or avoid pain in the future. Usually, very often I make decisions to avoid pain. Whether that is harmful to me or helpful to me, sometimes without taking that into consideration. Not realizing that when I am doing something that is convenient, but not in keeping with the moral order of dharma, or not keeping with what is expected out of me in a given situation, because it is inconvenient, painful, too demanding, involves a lot of hassle, Swami. So doing what is right may be demanding in terms of investing my energy, time, etc. It may involve hassle in terms of doing a lot of, a lot of exertion it may involve. It may not appear to bring an immediate reward also in what I have to do. I may not see immediately any personal gain in doing what I am required to do. My duty, what the situation demands, I may not see any personal reward in that. All of these things very often discourage me from doing what is right, because I want a reward for what I do. I don't want hassle in doing what I need to do. And I don't want to put up with a lot of effort invest a lot of effort. I want to get away with minimum of investment in terms of time, energy. This is often a usual tendency that I have. And whenever I submit myself to that tendency, then there is going to happen that I make a choice which is convenient to me personally, but not what is right for the situation as well as for the basic order. The Lord Krishna says, karyam karma samachara. may you very well perform karyam. Karyam means what is to be done, what is right to do, kartavya. Asakta, without attachment, without calculation for personal reward, without calculation for personal comfort, personal reward, and karyam, do what is to be done, invest whatever is required to be invested in terms of your time and energy and emotions, but do what is right. Lord Krishna thinks that doing what is right is more important than anything else. It is more important even than the personal reward that an effort may bring, more important than even the investment that I have to make for doing what is to be done. And also the discomfort that I may have to go through for doing that. It may involve also letting go of my personal convenience or personal comfort. Maybe other thing that I like to do, this thing is demanding my attention, but there are other things that I like to do. Thus, doing what is right in a given situation may involve a lot of personal sacrifice, or what I consider sacrifice. Karyam karma samachara, then still you do that. Whether you see any personal reward or not, that involves any pain or discomfort or not, whether it involves a hassle or not, whether you have to put up with discomfort or pain or not, etc. Do it. Then what is the reward? We always want reward. Not only that, but when scriptures, in this case Lord Krishna, instructs us, enjoins us to do karyam samyak achara. Now that is an adesha, that is Lord Krishna, this is a command, adesha. You should do. Then whenever this kind of command is given, when I am enjoined to do something, then still a question arises, what do I stand to gain by doing that? So Lord Krishna does say in the second line, asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Because Arjuna, Purusha or a person or aspirant, mumukshu, when Acharan performs his duty very well, asakta, without attachment, meaning that without consideration for personal gain or loss. Meaning that even if there is no personal gain, he still does it. Even if there is a personal loss, then also he does it. That is called without attachment to one's personal gain or loss. When you do this, paramapnoti purushaha, purushaha, the individual, paramapnoti, attains the supreme, attains the limitless. So reward is great, but long-term reward. The thing is here that you will gain param or limitless, God knows when, in future. When Swamiji, I don't know. How long the journey is, we do not know. When will that goal of limitlessness come? I can't tell, we cannot tell. But if you are on this path, then that end will definitely come. The destination is Badrinath. And this is the path that leads. But this path is, look at Swamiji, it's very rough. So much of climbing up and down and but that is what it is. if you want to reach the shrine of Badrinath, then you have to trek this path, which may involve hardships. But the fact that you are on the right path, it has to take you to the destination, because this path leads to that destination. Now the destination may be so far away that I don't see it anywhere. Where is Badrinath? It's not in my sight. It's not in your sight. It may not come in your sight for a long time. That is why Shraddhavantaha Anasuyantaha. It requires Shraddha or a trust. Trust in the words of the one who has guided you on this path. In this case, the trust in the words of the teacher, Lord Krishna. Or the trust in the words of the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita. That what it is that the scriptures teach me, what it is that Lord Krishna teaches me here, is for nothing other than my well-being. That here the teacher, namely, or any other deity, in this case it is Lord Krishna, has no axe to grind, has no personal agenda in asking me to do a given thing. Although there are people who see personal agenda, finding fault where there are virtues. But Lord Krishna's only mission is dharma samsthapanarthaya, for establishing dharma, righteousness. That's the only mission he has. Name parthasya kartavyam trishalokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam bharteva cha karmani. Lord Krishna says, look at me. There's nothing in the three worlds that has not been attained by me. I'm Ishvara. I am the maker as well as material. This world is not apart from me. It's endeavor. It's my own self is already attained. There is nothing unattained by me. By virtue of knowledge also. Varta eva cha karmani. Even then, I am constantly engaged in action. Lord Krishna says there is no reason why I should be doing anything. I can suddenly retire and I can enjoy my serpent bed in the milky ocean. And I may be in my yoga nidra, I need not be disturbed. I can very well dwell in my abode, which is Vaikuntha, and all that great luxury. And still has come down to this Vrindavana, this village with all kinds of discomforts. See, when they describe in Bhagavatam, sounds very attractive, but if you and I go there and live there, we will realize, that it is not easy to live in a place like this. From Vaikuntha. So he has come down. There is no reason for me to do all this. Varta eva cha karmani. And still I engage in doing what is to be done. Not just doing, but then doing what is to be done. Because Lord Krishna says, as Ishvara I find that there is a disorder now which is prevailing. The adharma, the disorder, has become very powerful. Dharma, the order, has become very weak and therefore is not able to confront adharma. The evil force of adharma becomes too strong for the virtuous force of dharma to confront them. So Lord Krishna says, I have to come to set things right. He came all the way from Vaikuntha here to set things right. Why? Just for the well-being of the humankind. You see, Only human being has problems in life. Nothing else in the whole universe has any problems. They don't have any problem. A deer doesn't feel bad that I am a deer. Or a rabbit doesn't feel that I am a rabbit only. They are very happy being what they are. They don't have any problems. The human being always feels I am not all right as I am. He has problem. Anyway, endeavor to make human being feel good that he is all right. That human being ultimately achieves this goal of life is my purpose. Therefore, there are those who abhyasuyantaha, finding fault in me, seeing a personal agenda in me, that maybe I have a personal agenda in inducing Arjuna to fight this battle so that my agenda will be fulfilled. There are people who see it that way. There are people who find a lot of faults with Lord Krishna. Various decisions that Lord Krishna took in the battlefield of Mahabharata, many people have a lot of problems with that. Looks like Lord Krishna took liberty with dharma, righteousness, whereas Lord Krishna asks everybody to follow dharma. Look at what he did. The way Bhishma had to leave the battlefield or was injured and then therefore incapable of fighting. Dronacharya gave up his life. Jayadratha was killed again by fraud. So Lord Krishna seems to have taken liberty with dharma from our standpoint. And so, how can he teach dharma? The point is, did Lord Krishna have any personal agenda in doing those things? Dharma samsthapanarthaya, the only agenda that Lord Krishna has is to establish the law of dharma. No personal gain that I will get some kingdom out of this, I will get some glory out of that. He only assumed the role of a charioteer. Not a glorious role. Everybody would think that it is Arjuna who won the battle and therefore he is glorified. Although Arjuna could not have done anything without the presence of Lord Krishna, but that was all done in a silent manner, it was not publicized. What public would know is what all great, insurmountable warriors Arjuna killed. Tasmat mamutishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshvarajyam samruddham. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that, hey Arjuna, I have chosen you to get all the yashas or all the glory. I have already done your job. Maya hatam svam jahima. So you do not worry. I have already killed these people. Ma vyasishtaha, don't have any kind of vyatha or anxiety or fear as to what will happen to me or how can you kill all these insurmountable warriors, already taken care of them. Maya hatastvam jahi. You kill those who are already killed. But the point is that Lord Krishna has no personal agenda and still people see that. So that is called asuya. Finding fault where there is virtue. When you have this kind of a tendency to the mind, some people have this mind. One thing is called jealousy. Matsaryam. Matsaryam is jealousy. When I cannot stand the progress of someone else, when someone else is accepted as smarter than what I am, more intelligent than what I am, more accomplished than what I am, when I see this kind of accomplishments from others, which I would have liked to have, that's the thing. See, we don't feel jealous of anybody. I don't feel jealous of Jeff Bezos, Jealous is the same class of people, understand? I don't feel jealous of, Wimbledon tennis champion or something like that. We don't feel jealous of anybody's and everybody's accomplishment. In fact, we glorify, we are happy about their accomplishment. When Virat Kohli scores a century, I am happy, I am not jealous. But I am jealous of somebody like me who has accomplished what I would have liked to accomplish. That is jealousy. The manasa santapaha, parotkarsham, seeing utkarsha or the accomplishment of someone else, the santapa, the burning happens in my heart. This is a jealousy. This is asuya is somewhat different. I cannot stand the virtue of some people in this particular instance. I cannot stand the virtue of some person. And therefore, in some way, I try to find fault where in fact there is virtue. Because I cannot stand. Because I don't have that virtue. Now, this asuya is a particular kind of jealousy. Where I cannot stand the virtue of somebody, and therefore I go out of my way to in fact publicize or paint them as the faults of that person. The virtue is in fact painted as a fault. You know why he does it, Swamiji? You know why he says that? You don't know, I know. So people sometimes tell us like that. When we say something good about somebody, then that fellow cannot stand it and says, "Oh, you don't know Swamiji. I know these people very well. This is all fraud, this is all damba, this is all pretension, all show business, etc., etc." So similarly, Lord Krishna says, so therefore asuya, abhyasuyantaha. When would a person not follow the injunctions of Lord Krishna? When one does not have Shraddha or the trust in the words of Lord Krishna, or one sees a fault or dosha where there is guna, meaning that one sees some kind of hidden agenda on the part of Lord Krishna in telling us what we should do. It's most amazing how there are things in our own mind that prevent us from even following the teaching which is for our own good. So either because I want an immediate benefit or gratification, and therefore I am not willing to put up with the pain that comes, not realizing that the short-term pain will give me long-term gain, but I go for a short-term gain even though it may bring a long-term pain, I do that. Or because some agenda I have and what I am told goes against that agenda, so I find fault in what I am told. So therefore there are many reasons: lack of Shraddha, lack of trust in the words of the teacher of the scriptures, or lack of intention, or suspecting intention of those persons. What Lord Krishna intended. Nanuvattishthanti me matam they do not follow this matam, this teaching of mine, which simply meant for their happiness. Because this is the only way to be happy in life. Human being has his or her own conclusions about what makes them happy. But here it is very clear that karma yoga, meaning performing actions, with the attitude of yoga is only way of becoming happy. Right attitude and value is only means of becoming happy. May not be the means of becoming wealthy or famous or powerful possible. The right values and attitude that Lord Krishna teaches may not appear to be in short term the means of attaining power or wealth or fame, but surely they are the means of happiness. And if I realize that happiness is more valuable to me than those other achievements like fame and power, if I realize that a person wants wealth or fame or power for happiness, not for their sake, then happiness will become more valuable to me than these worldly accomplishments. Meaning that I will not want to compromise happiness for the sake of those accomplishments. And if happiness is important to me, then the values and attitude will become important to me when I realize that they are the only means of happiness. How do you say that, Swamiji? Because happiness is a state of mind. When the mind enjoys a certain tranquility, when in a moment of happiness, that is when my mind does enjoy tranquility. And these values and attitudes are a means of bringing that tranquility. Anyway, so when these basic things are understood, if they are not understood, the scheme of life is not understood. That's why people do wrong things. Wrong means spiritually wrong things or morally wrong things. So then the next question is, how come Lord Krishna, they do not, your teaching is very clear, and you are stating the consequences of doing what is right and consequences of doing what is wrong also. Sarvajnana vimudam stan viddinashtan acetasaha. Lord Krishna said that those who go against my teaching, they are deluded and in fact they have wrong understanding about everything. And understand them to be destroyed, meaning that they in course of time become good for nothing in terms of any accomplishment in life. So Lord Krishna also said, what great loss is involved by not living life in this spirit of yoga. Well, it is very clear as to what I will have to put up with, how this involves a long-term suffering. Thus, the two choices that are generally available to us is the short-term pain and long-term gain versus short-term gain and long-term pain. So why do Lord Krishna, people go for the choice of short-term gain? Why? Even though it involves long-term pain, why do they choose this? Why do they violate values? What is the reason why people do this? Why people behave in an immoral way? So Lord Krishna answers that question in the verse number 33. Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrute jnanavanapi Prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahah kim karishyate. Prakritim yanti bhutani, second line says, that all beings follow their nature. All beings follow their nature. That's called prakriti. You call it svabhava or nature. People follow their nature. What is this nature? What is svabhava, prakriti or nature? Prag janma krita dharma dharma jnanechadi samskara vartaman janmani abhivyakta. Prag janma krita dharma dharma. The dharma and adharma, the punya karma, the virtuous deeds, and papa karma, vicious deeds that I may have done in the past births. In past many births. We have said a number of times that we have to accept something called past birth. That this cannot be our first birth. And if you don't accept the past birth, then it becomes only birth, because there is no future birth also. If there is future birth, then we are accepting rebirth. Then means then I can be product of rebirth. So those who accept only one birth, anyway, the point is that you cannot explain the diversity in the nature, in diversity in the creation that we see, and diversity in all human beings that we find. Everybody is different from everybody else in some way or the other. Even two identical twins also have a lot of differences in nature, even if their appearance may be similar. So what accounts for this diversity? What accounts for these differences? Only if each one of us has his, her own unique past. Because the present is the product of the past. If you are all different in the present, that means that you must have had a different past from each other. And what is meant by past is the way I conducted myself in the past. So past must be there for the present to be there. Because present is a product of the past. So we have to accept past, meaning past birth. For this birth, I must accept the previous birth. For that, I must accept that previous birth. And like that, we have to accept a series of births beginning as time. And whatever actions we perform, good, bad or indifferent, each action leaves its impression on my mind. Understand that an action will not only give rise to the result which I am accountable for, but a given action also leaves a samskara or an impression in the mind. And if similar actions are performed repeatedly, then that impression becomes deeper and deeper. And it creates a channel in my mind. When a point comes there, the thoughts automatically follow through that channel. That is called the habitual pattern or vasana. Just one action does not cause a pattern, it causes an impression. But when a similar impression is built up, then it gathers a force. It creates a tendency or a channel in the mind, and the future thoughts would have a tendency to flow through the same channel. Meaning that it becomes habitual way of thinking, habitual way of deciding, habitual way of behaving. So each one of us possesses habitual ways of behaving. Even depending upon our upbringing, we behave in a certain way. You see something and everybody reacts in different way. In India, for example, you see all kinds of, this garbage on the street. Many people, nothing happens to them, they just walk by. Some people look at it and feel it should be, then they don't do anything about it, they walk by. A rare person may be there who sees there and picks up the garbage. Meaning that the same thing evokes different kinds of responses from different people because each one has a different nature. And we behave according to the nature, generally. So this nature is a product of the built-up patterns of what I have done in the past. And therefore, even as I am born with these tendencies or vasanas or habitual patterns that I react in a certain way. That is called svabhava. And many of these patterns have become so powerful that I am controlled by them. Therefore Lord Krishna says, Prakritim yanti bhutani, people follow their nature, meaning people follow these impulsive patterns that are built into the mind. So people think also in a certain way. Even thinking patterns also are built in. Depending upon the religious background we come in, cultural background we come from, social background we come from, family background we come from, we respond in different ways. No, Swamiji, my mother said you cannot do that. Or, my grandmother said this thing. So these things are all deeply embedded and then we respond in a certain way. No, I won't eat that. I don't eat that. In our home we don't do that. In our family that's not the way. Whatever. So how these things are built in. We have to just watch, even in a line which is there for lunch or dinner or something, and you watch people conducting themselves in various different ways. How they pick up the plates and serve themselves, and what do they do with the food, and whether some people they have no concern about leftover food, some people have some concern, but I can't do it. And some people make sure that nothing is left in my plate. Different things are there. For some people it doesn't matter that the plate is filled up without thinking whether I can consume this or not. Just they fill up, that is svabhava. And then eat whatever they can eat, and I didn't like something, so leave, and then I'm full now, just leaves. Nothing happens that all this food is left over. Just dump into the garbage. Nothing happens. Something may happen also, but somebody feels so bad that something is left over in my plate. Swamiji, I'm sorry, I cannot finish this. And somebody goes to the extent of finishing it, whether he will somehow stuff in, because you cannot leave. This is my mother's, you cannot leave annam, that is not right. How towards all day-to-day things also we find different responses from different people. All of this shows that we have this svabhava or a built-in pattern of thinking. See the food and then think in a certain way, whether I look upon a laddu as an object of enjoyment. Swami used to say that a laddu that comes from a sweet shop has one response from me. No, I have diabetes, I can't touch it. Diabetes. Swamiji, this laddu is from Tirupati, then I can have it. Prasada I can. So you are giving me something, then I can take it, Somebody says prasada, no prasada. Doctor says no, so I can't do that, etc., etc. I'm not saying what you should do and should not do. All I'm saying is how our responses to the same situation are quite different and varied. That is because we possess a certain nature and we respond as dictated by our nature, usually. The Lord Krishna says, Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrutehe. Everybody conducts themselves as guided by or governed by their prakriti or their nature. Jnanavan abhinada. Lord Krishna, even a jnani. So jnanavan, what do you mean? Even a wise person also is dictated by the nature? Doesn't sound right. So one, if you look at the verse, Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrute, the last word in the first line of the verse is jnanavanapi. Even a wise person acts in keeping with his or her nature. Swami, even a jnanavan, wise person also is dictated by nature? But you say that we should conquer our nature, we master our mind. And then Jnanavan, a wise person, also is a slave of his mind, or what? What this verse says that essentially every person is a slave of the mind. By mind we mean the various impulses that are in the mind, and usually a person's behavior is impulsive behavior. Then later on you may recognize what did you do, whether it's right or wrong, but then you say something. Swami, later on I regret, I should not have said it. I said it anyway. So my wife does something that I already built in pattern, Vice versa, of course. Both ways it goes. Then I regret. But that time, it is my nature that governs me. But here Lord Krishna goes to the extent of saying that even a wise person also is dictated by nature. True? Understand that the wise person is the one who has completely transformed the nature. You cannot get wisdom unless the nature is completely transformed. Sometimes that aspect is not quite understood or not quite made note of. That gaining knowledge of the self, this knowledge is of a different nature than other knowledges, objective knowledges. Where knowledge of an object doesn't require any special qualification other than an intellectual development for learning physics and chemistry, etc. It doesn't require that I must be a good person or a bad person. It doesn't matter. In dharmika, adharmika, anybody can learn physics and chemistry and everybody can learn objective sciences because you can be objective. Your subjectivity does not come into play when you are dealing with objective things. You can keep your own self aside and still study physics and chemistry. Your own self does not come in the way, need not come in the way. But when it comes to subject, then yourself very much comes in the way. In fact, it decides, and therefore, when it's a matter of knowledge of self, it is necessary that we should have completely transformed our mind. From tamas to rajas, and rajas to sattva. And even sattva to vishuddha sattva, pure sattva. So here when Lord Krishna talks about jnanavan, even a wise person, if the word jnanavan is interpreted as wise person, then even a wise person also follows the nature, because his nature now is in harmony with the universal nature. Meaning that a wise person cannot do anything wrong. For a deliberate person like, we have to think and do what is right, because there may be impulse to violate and we have to deliberate. But a wise person is spontaneously right. So in that sense you can say that in fact there is a statement in the Brahma Sutra Adhyasa Bhashya where Bhashyakara says Pashvadibhischa avisheshat. It's a big statement. That a wise person is not really different from an animal. Look at that. Pashvadibhischa avisheshat. Avisheshat means because there is no difference. Pashvadivi, with pashu, animals, etc. What? Wise person is compared to an animal? In some aspect. That an animal also does not have a sense of doership. Kartrutva is not there. And therefore, animal never makes a wrong choice, always follows the impulse, his instinct. So, wise person also does not have a sense of doership, and he follows instinct, which is always right. But anyway, I don't think Lord Krishna meant a wise person in saying that. But Jnanavana means a learned person also. That we may be a learned person. Our Swami used to say that a person may have studied Vedanta for a number of years. And maybe even giving discourses and stuff like that, Vedanta. Even then, it's quite likely that some aspects of nature may control this person also. That sometimes gets overcome by anger, sometimes by jealousy, sometimes all these negative things. It is possible. That if these kind of impulses are there in the mind, whoever's mind it is, if there is kama, krodha, lobha, if lust is there, anger is there, greed is there, jealousy is there, whoever's mind it is, it is quite likely that sometimes even our scholarship also or exposure to a lot of things may not necessarily bring about a change unless we make a conscious effort to transform our mind. Our Swami used to say that emotional maturity has to be initiated. That not only should we have the value for understanding the scriptures, which is wonderful, we should. At the same time, we should have value for a mind of adhikari or a fit student, that our mind should necessarily become free from these impulses, ragadveshas. And thus we should enjoy a mastery of the mind. If this is not well understood, or if this aspect is not given enough priority, then those things may likely remain unaddressed. They always give us examples. Swami, what about Durvasa? Have you heard the name sage Durvasa? Durvasa. A great sage, but angry sage. He'll just curse you like that. Vishwamitra, also great, but angry sage. There are all kinds of examples in our Purana. So you can Swami Durvasa also was like that. What does it matter? So you can justify your behavior. Then you'll find somebody in Puranas by which we can justify ourselves. So Durvasa was like that, so what? Durvasa also had to run. Because he tried to test, Bhagavan Bhakta, Ambarisha. And he tried to see, and then that Chakra discus came and to run all the three worlds. What I am saying is that just because some sage was like that is no justification that I can also be like that. Meaning that when you find justification for anger, that's the worst thing. When I find justification for my anger or jealousy or all these negative tendencies, there is no way that I will ever overcome them, isn't it? So when these things are unaddressed, jnanavana means that one can be a learned person also. But if these issues of the mind are not addressed and not resolved, Swamiji, I am witness attitude. This witness attitude, I don't know who has taught anybody, but this witness business doesn't work. You don't have to witness of your mind. You have to observe your mind and you have to resolve the problems of the mind. Witnessing means that they remain as they are. So don't remain witness of your anger. You can't become, this witness also is only an illusion that I am a witness. Nobody can be witness of anger because anger will sweep you. It won't allow you to remain a witness. So witnessing is good at some point, little later. But what is required is to become aware of these various thoughts and impulses of our mind, understand their nature, understand the cause. All of these will be addressed, of course, in the next verse anyway, but the point is that we have to resolve these things. Jnanavanapi, meaning that even if a learned person who knows all this theory, I know all the theory because I am teaching that, but if that theory is not put into practice and I don't deal with my things, then I am not much different from other people who may be otherwise uninformed. Not much difference. Sadusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrutehe jnanavanapi. Thus even a learned, well-informed person also, anybody follows the nature. And that doesn't mean nature is always bad. That a learned person doesn't mean that nature is bad. That's not what is intended. Everybody is generally dictated by the svabhava, the nature. Meaning that even in what we consider as a very learned person, we may find traits that are not desirable. That is because that's called svabhava, part of svabhava. Built-in patterns are there. Built-in impulses are there. And these are called vasanas, etc., meaning that tendencies are strong, tendencies are there, and we have to resolve those things. Prakrutim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. What can nigraha do? What can restraint do? This again is going to come later anyway when Arjuna will ask this question. That Duryodhana also is a well-informed person. Because Duryodhana had the same kind of education that Pandavas had. And therefore, he can fall in the category of a person who is well-informed. But Duryodhana's statement is very well known. Janami dharmam nacha me pravrittihi. Janami adharmam nacha me nivrittihi. I know what is dharma, what is the right thing to do, but I cannot get around to do that. Janami adharmam, I know what adharma is, what is wrong, but I cannot get rid of that. Shows his helplessness. Kenapi devena rudisthitena yatha niyuktosmi tatha karomi. There is some deva sitting within me and I find myself, not I am doing it, I find myself conducting myself as dictated by that one sitting inside. Yatha niyuktosmi, as I am ordained or as I am ordered, that's what I do. This is what is law. This is an extreme case, is what Lord Krishna means in this particular verse. Nigraha kim karishyati. What can restraint do? Because sometimes the impulses are so powerful that you just cannot restrain them. They just overcome you. You see anger is coming, is building up, before you do anything it just explodes. Like a volcano, it explodes. You can see volcano rising. You can see volcano rising in your own mind. But it's so powerful that it just overcomes you. Nigrah kim karishyati. What can restraint do? Meaning that this is an extreme case that Lord Krishna is talking about. In response to what? In response to the previous verse, where people who do not follow this teaching of mine, because they don't have trust in my words, or because they suspect my intention, or because they find fault in me where there are virtues, that kind of a distorted nature of these people, these are these people. That even if the person wants to follow, his mind doesn't allow him to follow, because many people are slaves to this, called slave of the mind, meaning slave to the impulses of the mind. And this explained, there was a question, Swamiji, we very often talk about values and stuff like that in our satsangs also. But Swamiji, you said there is a free will, that there is a choice in every situation, but is there really free will? Is it not that a person's mind dictates what the person does? Where is the freedom? That you have brought this nature with you and your nature dictates you when you make a choice, and looks like you have no choice. So where is free will? Human beings just do, well, it is true, what their impulses tell them to do. Where is free will? There is no free will. This impulse arose because he did something in the past. That he did because of something in the past, etc., etc. Never he had any choice really. There was never a free will. So again, this is the subject matter of the next verse, but we will talk about it anyway, now that we are on the issue. That there is the free will. As our Pujya Swamiji would say that we are all born with the consciousness of the common sense dharma. That I should not do unto others what I do not want them to do to me. Everybody knows. I know what others should not do to me, and I know that they also expect me not to do that to them. I know that. I'm clear about how others should treat me, and I know that they also expect me to treat them in this way. Meaning that this common sense dharma, the awareness each one of us has. We cannot claim ignorance of that. If you are ignorant, in words of Swamiji, it was a manufacturing defect. Like making a Ferrari, like a racing car, without brake, something like that. If human being is born without this awareness of what is expected out of me, it would be a manufacturing defect, because he is given a free will. This is not there with other creatures who are already programmed, and therefore they do what is right for them. We are not totally programmed, we do have a free will. But Swamiji, my impulse seems to dictate me. Where is my free will? My past karmas dictate the present. Where is the free will? But this freedom is there. This awareness is there. There is something within you that tells you that this is not right. When a cat attacks a mouse, nobody tells the cat this is wrong, there is no problem. Cat has no guilt. But when I say something which is hurtful to somebody, something inside tells me that this is wrong, and I regret it later on. That shows that it is not total. I have that little awareness. Maybe it is faint now because of my behavior, that voice has become rather very faint, but it is there. And if I want to pay attention to that faint voice within me which says what is the right thing to do, then I have that freedom of choice. So freedom of choice is there, but it has been abused again and again. And when that happens, then the nature of the mind dictates a person. What can the restraint do? Even restraint also cannot do anything at that time. Then in the words of Bada Swamiji, they have to be baked in the furnace of samsara, And so, meaning that suffer the consequences of all this violation of moral order. There is no choice other than suffering that comes, because that alone will cure, because they cannot cure themselves. So the life will put them to all kinds of pains, which is like being baked in the furnace of the world, And that's how slowly they will learn. God will make them learn anyway. But if you don't learn in a straightforward way, then we'll learn in a painful way. Learning is going to be there. So, here Lord Krishna talked about, this is told again, this is not the main theme of Bhagavad Gita. But this verse is being told for the next verse and next verse, etc. The few verses that follow. For that purpose, this verse is. For verse that followed and few verses that follow, this verse is told to us. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So now we have to go to the temple hall where the next function will be there. As you know, looking at you, it is clear to me that you know that we are now celebrating the Guru Purnima, the public function of Guru Purnima. The actual Guru Purnima was last Tuesday, but for the benefit of the weekenders, we are celebrating Guru Purnima today. So we all go back to the temple hall. There the Rudrabhisheka, Lord Dakshinamurti's Abhisheka and other pujas will take place. And we'll come back here then for lunch. No.